Hi, I am Bernadette Henry, and I am a mental health and an emotional wellness coach for busy working moms. And I help moms by providing courses, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, live events, so that you can live your best life physically, mentally, and emotionally. So today, I would like to talk about the difference between Asperger's and autism. And this is for parents who are new to the process, who's been told that their child has autism or Asperger's, and you just don't know what to do. You're confused. You have a lot of questions. You're going through a lot of feelings and emotions about this new thing that you have to live with or help your child kind of live with. And this is for parents as well who have been told maybe by their teacher or a doctor or some other person that maybe they should look into seeing if their child has a diagnosis or, things of that nature. Now, I am not a clinical psychologist, psychiatrist, or nor am I here to diagnose anybody's children. I'm just here to basically give my professional opinion as a mom of someone that has a child with autism or with autism Asperger's, and someone that's helped other moms kind of get through those initial phases after their child has been diagnosed. So come in, say hello, where you're from, and if you're dealing with a child with autism or Asperger's at this time, or if you know someone that is and may find this information useful. If you don't feel comfortable telling me in the comments, because it is such a sensitive matter, feel free to shoot me a message and I will definitely answer that to you. Okay, so let's get to it. Asperger's, autism. Is there a difference? Autism and Asperger's, because I use the terms interchangeably, they're basically the same. The major difference is the matter of degree, okay? So the term Asperger's is no longer used. Asperger's was basically a term used for high-functioning autism, and that term is no longer used in the DSM, and they put everything into a classification of ASD, so Autism Spectrum Disorder. However, because of public awareness, you will still hear the term Asperger's used frequently. In which I do. I interchange them all the time, autism, Asperger's. So here are three major differences. Number one, the level of IQ. So people with Asperger's usually have IQs that fall within normal or superior range. Those with autism usually have a lower IQ, which is measured by standardized assessments, okay? Number two, speech. People with autism do not usually typically develop normal abilities to use sound and language as a means of communication, whereas the speech of those with Asperger's is intact. However, they do not understand irony, humor, and things of that nature. So it's a kind of a give and take when it comes to communication. Number three, age of detection. And Asperger's, because of the IQ level, a lot of times it's not noticeable until a child enters school. And that's when the difficulty in social interaction becomes apparent. As far as autism, it can be detected as early as the age of 2, when there's a persistent failure to engage with people, and it's observable. So those are three major differences. 1, in the IQ, 2, in speech, and 3, in the age of detection. Okay? So the video is mainly about the differences, but because autism and Asperger's are basically the same thing, like I said, it's just a difference of the spectrum. So it's all under ASD. Asperger's is considered a little bit more high functioning than autism. So that's basically the major difference in different areas. So let me just give you some of the similarities because, like I said, it's all in the same. Number one, a lot of children with Asperger's or autism, they tend to self-isolate. They suffer from an ability to relate to people and situations in ordinary ways. Number two, resistant to change. They crave the sameness and predictability, and most times engage in repetitive activities. 3, lack of expression of feelings, intentions, and desires that are typically in communication with other people. They use language that's not to connect with people, but to engage with themselves, to focus on what interests them. Number 4, having a fascination with an attachment to objects and narrow isolated activities for the purposes of stimulating self and protection from the outside world. And number 5, lack of sense of humor, having little understanding of jokes and puns, very literal in thinking. So I hope that you learned today. I hope that you learned some similarities and some differences between autism and Asperger's. Like I said, it's all in the same. It's just a matter of level of functioning, as well as they just change in degree. So I do use those terms interchangeably. And why? Because I do have a son that is on that has Asperger's or is on the autism spectrum. But yeah, so my experiences are more on that degree because this is what I deal with on a daily basis. Now, I'm familiar with like lower functioning autism as I've dealt with it in my professional career, as well as working with other moms to kind of overcome their feelings of finding out, going through their feelings of how maybe angry and sad and depressed and things like that they are because they are dealing with this. So I just basically wanted to tell you some of those differences because I do use the terms interchangeably, and I hope that you did learn something. If you have any additional questions, any comments, I'll be glad to answer them for you. Once again, I am Bernadette Henry, and I'm a mental health and an emotional wellness coach for busy working moms, and I help you by providing courses and coaching. So feel free, like I said, to leave your comments here, or you can send me an inbox if you're not comfortable leaving your comment here. Also, I have a free ebook for busy working moms helping you to manage stress, and this is for any busy working mom. Also, I have an upcoming webinar coming up on from suspecting to accepting. So if your child was recently diagnosed with autism or Aspergers or on the ASD spectrum, which you will hear nowadays, there's stages. You're angry, you're sad, you're guilty, you're depressed. You're going through all of these feelings. You're confused. You don't have any support systems. This is what this webinar is going to be about. So if you're interested in that webinar, just put in the comments webinar or I'm interested, and I will definitely update the status with the link to get on the mailing list for that webinar. So thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them here in the comments, or if you don't feel comfortable, leave them in the inbox and tag a friend that you know may be going through this. Okay. So thank you so much and have a great day.